Let's bring in Florida Congressman Aaron Bean. He's co-chair of the DOGE caucus in the House. I want to put on the screen for our viewers some of the cuts that Elon Musk's DOGE committee have made because they are substantial. He says it should be fairly easy to get to $1 trillion in government spending cuts. Do you agree? That seems like a huge amount of money.
John Scott, it's great to be with you. I think it's a good start. It's a good start. And the more I watch your coverage of just people having a meltdown, where you've got Elon and his team working to find waste, fraud, and abuse, who could be against that? And it seems that just misinformed people don't understand how fragile our government is, how our government can't pass any type of reasonable audit. So we support a complete review of how we spend money, the process of which we do so. It's long overdue. And to the American people watching right now, if we don't, we will go belly up sometime in the near future.
I believe one of the items that caught my ear is when the DOGE committee announced there were 1,800 people at the Social Security Administration whose job it is, their only job is to hand out iPhones to various members of Social Security. And they indicated that they could do 2 of those a day and cover, each person could hand out 2 phones a day and cover the entire workforce. It seems like an extraordinary amount of waste.
It is an extraordinary amount of waste, and the spotlight is being shined. And again, I'm still trying to grasp, John Scott, who could be against waste, fraud, and abuse to preserve our way of life, to preserve the promises. Our country has made so many promises to seniors, to veterans, and this is our way of getting financially healthy so that we can make those promises. I think it was at the IRS that has those 1,400 employees that their only job is to give out a cell phone or a laptop, and they could do it within a month, yet here we are. John, you have to remember, too, the Biden administration added over 200,000 federal employees. It was one of the largest growths of our federal government since the 1800s. So they're only they're right sizing. It has to be done. Has to be done. Sometimes it's when you go through change is not easy. But in order to get healthy financially and otherwise, we have to do it.
You talked about keeping our promises to veterans and seniors. Here's some of the talk about protecting Social Security by the DOGE committee. Listen.
As a result of the work of DOGE, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
There are over 15 million people that are over the age of 120 that are marked as alive in the Social Security system.
They get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So when you want to change your bank account, you can call Social Security. We learned 40% of the phone calls that they get are from fraudsters.
15 million people over the age of 120 in this country apparently drawing Social Security benefits. It's appalling.
It is appalling. And I wish anybody that's on the fence on DOGE, for whatever reason, has become a hot topic. Invest 30 minutes. Brett Baer did an amazing job on that interview with the whole DOGE team. First of all, they're not kids. I think people want to say the DOGE team is just a bunch of kids. These are billionaires, Fortune 500 CEOs and executives that are doing it for one reason. They love this country. It's their way of giving back, and they know that if we don't, we could lose this country and our way of life forever, and all of those promises that we've made to seniors and veterans won't have a way of being fulfilled.
Of course, this is the country that has invented some of the most widely used technology in the world, and yet when it comes to applying that technology to our government, DOGE is finding that, well, we don't seem to be able to manage that very well. Listen.
By some estimates, government IT costs about $100 billion, and it's funding systems that are over 50 years old, in the case of something like Social Security or the IRS. So really critical systems are old, they cost a lot of money to maintain, and they can be, the efforts to improve them are often very delayed. So I thought I'm a software engineer that maybe could make a difference here.
I mean, most Americans, if they have a laptop computer, they keep it, 3, 4, 5 years, and then they go get a new one. It sounds like the government hasn't been doing that.
We have not been doing it. We had a hearing on Ways and Means, listening to people at the IRS who it was lost in translation. They're still using technology in the 70s to collect taxes. In many instances, it is almost more expensive to collect money than it is to let people direct file on a variety of different levels. We've got work to do. I am grateful for the DOGE committee and their team to do it, and hopefully they'll know that there's some American people that are grateful for their service, grateful for their work, and want them to continue on their mission. I can tell you this: the American taxpayer is dancing in the street right now, finally getting some accountability, getting some spotlight on some of the ridiculous things our government does with their tax money.
And tell us briefly about the separation between Elon Musk's DOGE efforts and your DOGE efforts in Congress. What are the differences?
John, I co-chair a DOGE caucus. It's made up of members of Congress on both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats. We're committed to codifying in law some of the DOGE reductions of efficiency and reductions. A bill that I filed just recently is put your money where your mouth is. It says to members of Congress that we have to cut ourselves. Our operating budget should be cut by at least 5%. That's something that I think a lot of people can agree on. No one is immune, not even members of Congress.
All right, Congressman Aaron Bean, we wish you well as you try to get all of this straightened out. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.